Now, it's still really humbling. I mean, from the entire week, from starting Monday till now on Saturday, what's been humbling is the fact that you've asked me to come and give these talks and these speeches. And what you don't understand is I get more out of this probably than you do. Anytime I get a chance to speak, it allows me time to reflect. And I spend, you can ask Mattia, I spend a lot of time just in my thoughts. It looks like I'm on my phone, but what I'm doing is I'm typing notes because I'm trying to dig deeper into every concept that we talk about. And there's levels to everything. There's artificial and surface. There's artificial levels where it's just kind of on the surface. There's not really too much deep stuff to talk about. Then there's stuff like we talk about passion, where you could talk about passion and you could dig a hole to the other side of the earth talking about passion, just because there's so many levels to it. All right. But now what we're going to talk about, and the way I kind of view my entire life's purpose is my dad used to always tell me, love never fails. That's a verse in the Bible. Love never fails. And that's stuck with me my entire life. Because if love never fails, if everything you do is out of love, you can never fail. Even if it doesn't work out to your benefit, if you're doing it out of love, you're doing the right thing. You're serving the right way. A lot of times we talk about service and it's selfish. We do something for somebody because we expect something in return. We write a post on Facebook because we want to see how many likes we can get. That's kind of selfish. We don't even think of it like that. We're addicted to the like. We're addicted to what we can get back. We're addicted to that feeling, and that's just natural. I call it words of affirmation. Everybody loves to hear words of affirmation. I love words of affirmation. I love every time you guys call me the juice man. I love it. It gives me a good feeling. Just like when you high five somebody, when you make contact, when you touch somebody up, it's a good feeling to be liked. It's a good feeling to be liked. I've learned this about life. If everybody likes you, it's one of two things. One, you're either the most amazing human being on the planet, and there is no other soul like you, or you're really not pushing the envelope hard enough. You're really not pushing the envelope hard enough. And what I mean by that, if you have no enemies, if you don't have anybody that hates on you, if you don't have anybody that talks about you, that means you're kind of just flying under the radar. Or you're just a superhuman being, which there's probably a lot of them out there. It's okay to not be liked by everybody. And it's okay to have somebody hate on you a little bit, because that means you're kind of figuring it out. Because what we're going to talk about now, we're going to tie all these speeches for the last week together, and we're going to talk about competitive excellence. Competitive excellence. This is a deep topic for me, because everything that we talked about has led us to this point, to the end of this camp. Being a better competitor. But not just being competitive, because being competitive and channeled in the wrong direction is destructive. It's like adding gasoline to a fire. It's just going to blow up real big. It's going to burn real bright. But it has no direction. That fire could go over here, burn this person, fire could go over here, burn that person. Just being competitive in general can be bad when channeled in the wrong direction. But competitive excellence is competitiveness driven with purpose. Competitiveness driven with purpose. You have an idea of where you want to go. It's the roadmap. The purpose is the roadmap. Being competitive on that drive, that's the idea here. So now we're talking about competitive excellence, and this is very just kind of a broad topic, but in my mad scientist way here, when I think about these things, I'm not very good at math or chemistry or physics, but I like formulas. I think formulas are cool. I think if you can mix something up in the lab, boom, presto, here it is. We have this newfound element, or whatever you do with science. All right? I like formulas, and this helps me. And you're going to find some common themes because we talked about them all week long. So the formula for competitive excellence, class, as we sit here, is juice. What is juice? We know what juice is, right?
Yeah.
Being an energy giver, right? Hey!
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 All right, we just got a little more juice right now. We know what juice is. We know what it feels like to have juice. It's just constant, unbridled enthusiasm and energy, right? Juice plus passion. We talked about passion being constant, like a steady train on a track. Doesn't stop, doesn't go up and down. It's not emotion, it's passion. Right, so we talked about passion, something that really deep inside you. You love it. You love it, you do anything for it. So juice, great energy, plus passion. Something that you would really, really love or die for. Plus passion. Plus purpose. Plus purpose. Because where are we taking our juice, our energy? And where are we taking our passion? And where are we going with it? What's our purpose with it? Plus purpose. Times our 1% mentality. Times that by getting 15 minutes better a day on our purpose. Because the right energy with great passion, focused on a purpose, and really, really executed with the 1% mentality, well, we can go places. Now we can get better. Just 15 minutes a day. Just starting with that 1% a day. But we're going to divide that. We're going to divide all that we conquered up here with this right mindset, this competitive excellence formula, all this, we're going to divide that by failure. So we talked about failure. And it's divided by failure because half of us can handle failure, half of us can't handle failure. Half of us, everything has to be perfect. And if everything has to be perfect, then we're really not pushing ourselves. Because perfection is unattainable. It's this weird concept that everyone says, oh, I want it perfect. You can't find perfection. It's impossible to be perfect. We're imperfect human beings in an imperfect world. Perfection is unattainable. But effort, perfect effort, like effort, channeling effort in a direction, that's attainable. So we're going to divide it by failure because half of us don't know how to handle it, half of us can handle it, half of us learn how to handle it. Some of us, when we fail, we go backwards. Some of us, when we fail forward. And that's the goal. We want to fail forward. We want to fail harder the next time. Fail harder, fail forward. So now we push our comfort zone. We push our boundaries, right? And if we can do all that, if we can fail forward while combining our juice, our passion, our purpose, and our 1% mentality, there we have created competitive excellence. And what's competitive excellence again? Competitive excellence is becoming the most purposeful and competitive version of you. Of you. The race is against you. We fight. We fight ourselves. We talked about it. I met the enemy and he is me. We fight ourselves every day. We fight our fear, we fight our doubt, we fight our worry. So being competitive isn't like looking over there and being like, I got to be more competitive than her. Or, I got to be more competitive than him. No, you have to be more competitive than the old you, the yesterday you. Today, some of you woke up and you were ready to attack today. You were ready to be competitive today. More competitive than you were yesterday. Yesterday, I could just use our girls, our 04 girls, for example, really sore. We let the soreness defeat us yesterday. We didn't really want to crank it up too hard. Really kind of wanted to go slow. But today, I'm 15 minutes at the meeting spot, and they're not there. So what do I think? Oh, they were not into it yesterday. They were kind of down. So I went to the room. There's no girls in the room. I'm like, oh crap, they're lost. Or somebody kidnapped him. And now I'm like, oh, Victor's not gonna like this. This is gonna be over for me. Never coming back. So I go to the room, they're not there, I walk back out, I say, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the gym. Maybe they're at the gym. And now we always leave 15 minutes prior to. And this was about 20 minutes prior to. So I walk over to Osa, I hop in the gym, and there's some girls meeting, talking about the workout. There's some girls doing stretching. There's some girls doing shooting progression. There's some girls doing ball handling drills. They're already into it, and I haven't even got them yet. You started your workout before I even got there. So you beat your competitive self, your all day, your yesterday competitive self. You already beat it because you didn't let today's soreness, you didn't let today's mentality affect you. You decided to get up, attack the day, go over to the gym, and start working with purpose before I even got there to instruct you. See, that's an example of competitive excellence. Becoming a better version of you today than you were yesterday. And it's just 1%. It's just 1%. So now that we've figured out kind of how we can achieve competitive excellence, we got to talk about what it is we're shooting for. So we have this formula, now we have this key to success as far as competition is concerned and purpose is concerned. But what about getting something you want? Emma, where's my girl Emma? Shooting progression, right here. So she's in here again this afternoon, after lunch, just working on what we talked about, just her wrist snap and her follow through, and just making sure she's doing the same thing over and over again, right? So she wants to become a better shooter. That's what that tells me. She wants to become a better shooter. So now she has to ask herself 3 questions. The first question she already asked. First question is, what is it that you want? I want to become a better shooter. That's what I want. Okay. Now, I want to become a better shooter. How do I become a better shooter? You've got teaching techniques. After she decides she wants to become a better shooter, she's got to determine, what is that going to cost me? What is becoming a better shooter going to cost me? Not money-wise. I mean, it could be money-wise. You could decide to go pay for a shooting coach, and that would cost your family some money. But you personally, what's it going to cost you? Well, let's talk about cost here. Because when we want something, most cost is not monetary for us. It's going to be a little bit more intangible, a little bit more physical, or mental, or emotional, right? So she determines what she wants to become a better shooter. She's got to find out how much that's going to cost her. Well, she decides that her currency right now, it's going to cost her time, and it's going to cost her sacrifice. And time is money. So it's going to cost her time in the gym to become a better shooter. Time, learning technique. It's going to cost her sweat, because she's going to have to work at a certain rate of speed with a certain discipline. She's going to have to work that way to become a better shooter. So it's going to cost her time, and it's going to cost her sweat, and it's going to cost her energy, mental, physical, and emotional energy to become a better shooter. So she sees all this, and she's like, that's what it costs me to become a better shooter. The third thing is you have to decide if you're willing to pay that price. See, that's everything in life. Ladies, you go out and shop for a nice new dress. Oh, girl, this one looks good. And then you go like this. You flip that price tag. And you put that back on the rack. You know why? Because you decided not to pay that price. But then you go over here to the sale rack, and you say, oh, this one's nice too. Right? And you say, half off. I'll take it. Right? And we go check out. You decided you were willing to pay that price. So this price was expensive. This price was cheap. We'll take that. That's easy. See, the expensive stuff, it's expensive for a reason. People put time, effort, energy into that expensive dress. They put time in. Hey, this white woman may have something wrong with it. It may be dysfunctional. It may not zip up all the way. So no wonder why that one's half off. Well, think about that. Because there's players out there that when they want something, they'll pay this price, but they won't pay this price. This is top of the line. This is half off. As a player, some of you want to be top of the line, but you'll only pay your coach half off price. But you'll talk about it. You'll talk about it. So what are you willing to pay the price for what you want? If you want to be a great shooter, you got to determine whether or not that time, that sacrifice, and that sweat is worth it to you. And it's a simple choice every single day when you're talking about what do you want in life. Are you willing to pay the price? What do you want? So now, we talk about your currency here because you got to have money. You got to have some sort of money to pay the price. See, and how you're going to change in your currency for what it is you want, you're going to need love. You're going to need to love what you do. Because to pay the price for that top of the line stuff, that A number 1 shooter, that shooter that doesn't miss, that 90% spot shooter, to pay the price for that person is going to have to love what he or she does. And that's passion. That goes back into our formula. When you love something, you'll do it, man. You'll do it over and over and over again. That's passion. Then you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to pay in terms of sacrifice. Sacrifice early mornings. Sacrifice late nights. Sacrifice sleepless nights. Right? Sacrifice time with your friends. Social hour. Sacrifice Swedish summers. Sacrifice your summer home. Sacrifice your time to yourself. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot of stuff that maybe you don't want to give up. And that all goes in terms of paying the price for what you want. And last thing, you're going to have to be disciplined. Because, see, this is a long game. This is the marathon part of it. This is the marathon part of competitive excellence. See, discipline, if you are disciplined and you do it religiously every single day, it's going to allow you to have freedom. Because if you step into a gym and on day 1 and then on day 101, you see the results because you've done it consistently every single day. Now you're a better shooter. Guess what? Coach notices. Guess what? Teammates notice. Guess what? Fans notice. Guess what? Everybody notices. And so they say, you can shoot more. We want you to shoot more. You have freedom because you were disciplined. And that's gonna take a long time.